Storytime at the Rubus, a weekly podcast about the Bonnaroo Music and Arts Festival. I'm your host, Charla.
And hey guys, I'm Daniel. Charla, you doing good?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Good. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to our big lineup episode last week. That was a lot to put together, and I'm glad that it was well received. It got a lot of downloads. I'm really happy about that.
I don't envy you having to edit that episode.
Oh man, there was a lot.
So many pieces went into that.
We do a lot of time travel in this show, and it gets confusing at times. Like when we did the Burning Man episode last fall and everything, it gets wild.
But I want to thank every single person that called in for that.
Yeah, that was wild.
That was amazing. And if we didn't get to you in that call in, or if you didn't get a chance to, to put your voice in that episode, please DM us. Please hit us up on that, because we want to make sure that everyone got heard on that.
We're going to do one of those again soon, I think.
Yes.
Probably in the next month or two.
Yes.
I wanted to give everybody time to dig into the lineup and find some new things, so we'll get some new recommendations.
Right.
Do you have any new recommendations from the lineup? Anything that you found so far?
Oh, so many things.
Give me one.
I've been listening to all these Spotify playlists that people have made.
Yeah.
And there's so many things. So many good things.
Give me one band or singer or whoever that you found that you like. I'll give you one. Should I start?
No, there's one, Noah, and I can't say his last name. I don't even know. Noah K.A. something.
Don't know how to pronounce it. We'll figure it out.
I'm just going through the Spotify
so
list.
Noah.
So quick. But yes, and I mean, just such an amazing Jacob C.
They're new people. Yeah,
they're new people. So I'm going through the list so quickly, and it's just popping up on Spotify, and I'm just jamming out with all these tunes right now.
One that I've divin into, is that a word? I just made it a word if it isn't. One that I dove into is the Beths. A couple of people recommended them to me, and I got to listening, and I'm like, yeah, I like this.
Okay, so I checked them out.
Yeah?
I couldn't get into it.
Really?
I couldn't get into them, yeah.
Okay. They reminded me a little bit of Sleater Kinney or something like that, a little bit. Mm-hmm. Not so much Wet Leg, which is really popular right now. A little bit more of a retro sound. I really dug it.
Yeah. It just wasn't for me personally.
Well, that's okay. That's one cool thing about a Bonnaroo lineup is there's a little bit of everything for everybody.
So I have kind of a funny story. So I was like, oh, 3 6 Mafia's playing. I remember them from my heyday.
Yeah.
And so I go to Spotify. I'm like, and I look them up, and I just hit random on Spotify or whatever, and it's playing all these 3 6 Mafia songs, and I listen to them for like 2 days straight, driving to and from work, and I'm like, oh, I don't remember any of this. They must have some new stuff out, and I'm jamming. I'm loving this. I'm like, wow, this sounds great.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna I'm definitely going to see them. This sounds so good. And then after 2 whole days of listening to them, I realize I have not been listening to them. I've been listening to like some totally other person featuring 3 6 Mafia.
Yeah. Spotify's a little
Spotify
annoying sometimes.
You know? That's how you can like fart on a song and it'll put it number 1 as you're like at the top, on Spotify. Like
years ago, there was this song by Rihanna and somebody who will no longer be named, and it was featuring Paul McCartney. And Paul McCartney was literally just whistling on it. I'm not making this up. Yeah. But he was in there, so he gets included, or that's included on playlists with him in it. Uh-huh. It's kind of weird. That's not what we're here to talk about today.
No.
Yeah, so we're going to devote almost all of this episode to a FAQ that was on the sticky post on the Bonnaroo Reddit this past week. So, full disclosure, do you want to tell them your role in that, Charlotte?
I'm a moderator on the Bonnaroo Reddit.
Yeah, one of many, right? How many people are there that are moderators on there?
Well, there's 2 active, really active moderators, and then there's like 10, on and off moderators.
Yeah, so shout out to travel_time. Yes. Charlotte and I have been talking with him. I invited him on, but he wanted to remain anonymous, kind of like the festival does. I respect that. Yeah.
Like that.
So we spoke with him. We put that up as a kind of stickied way for people to ask their questions. And one reason for that is we're going to have a lot of first-timers this coming year. A lot of people were talking about that on the Reddit and on some of the Facebook groups and Discords. We're probably going to sell out. I'm going to be surprised if Bonnaroo does not sell out this year. So be prepared for the crowds, but we're going to have a lot of new people. So to all of the old people, and I don't mean that you're old, I just mean that you've been to Bonnaroo before, remember the Bonnaroo code. That's something that we need to remember when we're welcoming in all the new Ruvians. And for you rookies, hey, look up the Bonnaroo code. We talked about it a little bit on the last episode. Just Google that, the Bonnaroo code. There's 5 big things. We'll talk about it another day, but that's some reading homework for you, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we are going to use pretty much as much time as we can in this episode to dig through the FAQ questions that were on this sticky thread. So I'm going to read the question and the person that asked it. So it'll be these weird Reddit usernames. Are you ready, Charlotte?
I'm ready.
All right. The first one, this was the top voted one. This is from Nutty Fropesser, I guess.
I love it.
Wants tips to avoid burning out too quick, too fast. I don't want to miss out on anything, but how do you get through 4 days of being up all night, partying, and drinking without losing your mind?
That's a great question.
That's the $1 million question,
That's
isn't
the $1
it?
million question.
So should I start or should you?
Well, this is one of the answers that someone gave, and it is the truest answer.
Yeah.
Bonnaroo is a marathon, not a sprint.
Well, yeah, exactly. Everybody was going to tell you that. One thing that I will tell you is you need to prep yourself in the month or two leading up to Bonnaroo. So get plenty of sleep, 8 hours a night, hydrate a lot before you get to Bonnaroo. Eat well. Try not to eat too many greasy things, like don't be going to McDonald's or like your greasy local burger joint or stuff like that. Eat very healthy in a couple of weeks leading up to that. What else, Charlotte?
Start hydrating before, Bonnaroo.
Go walking a lot.
Right. Always start walking, a couple of months, leading up to Bonnaroo, just so I can get, not necessarily like fitness, but just prepare myself, because I know I'm going to be walking miles and miles and miles a day when I get to Bonnaroo. Electrolytes, putting those electrolyte powder packs in your waters, snacks with a lot of sustenance in it, just really pacing yourself, like someone said in the comments.
Yeah.
And making sure that you're getting plenty of sleep every night. So just really taking those active steps to prepare your health in advance of Bonnaroo is what really helps me a lot.
And once you get there, obviously you have to pace yourself. I mean, you're going to go hard. That's part of the reason that you're there. But if there's a spot in the day where there isn't an act that you're dying to see and there isn't something happening in the campgrounds that you have to get to, take a good power nap. Even if you're in Bonnaroo, you're going to see people hiding out in the shade taking a quick nap. Try to rest up at some point in the afternoon. You're going to feel a lot charged up by the time you're ready to go at night.
One of the comments on here from Poop Basket 420.
Wait, what was their name again?
Poop Basket 420 says, when they go to sleep, they sleep. When they go to sleep at Bonnaroo, they sleep with a sleep mask and 5 battery fans.
Oh, that's you. Was this you?
No, but this could be my twin, because that is how I sleep at the house. I mean, seriously.
Are you Poop Basket 420?
No, but seriously, stuff like that helps, and just white noise. I mean, it really helps me to sleep, but, I agree with that person.
All right. There's some very good tips. There's a lot of comments on that top voted question. I'm going to put a link in the show notes. So if you're listening to this on Spotify or iTunes or whatever, if you go into the show description, there's going to be a link to this thread where there's a lot of great advice. So this is just me and Charlotte giving you our advice to these questions, but there's a lot of other people with great perspectives that have added their 2 cents as well.
But really, also, just to add to that, I mean, like we said, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah.
I have personally seen people getting meted out on Thursday. You don't want to be that guy.
Yeah, she's not here to defend herself, but Brooklyn did. She went too hard on Thursday one time.
I mean, we've all done it, but I mean, I've seen people actually getting meted out.
Oh, that, yes.
Like getting taken out by the med team.
This was 6 years ago. You and I saw somebody getting carried away at the other tent. That's how long ago it was. And for those of you that are kind of new to Rue, that was what was there before the other is there now. There used to be a tent there. So this had to be around 2016, maybe even 2015 when somebody was carried away on a Thursday. But that's just a long way of saying it's a marathon, not a sprint. You're going to want to go hard. I did it a little bit too much. I was so happy to be there on Tuesday last year that I kind of did myself in. I got kind of a headache and had to go to sleep early on Tuesday night.
I remember one year, I drank too much during the day.
Yeah.
And I missed a show. I missed one of my shows.
Yeah,
because
don't do it. So. Don't do it. All right, should we go to the next one?
Yes.
This one is from Jamie Duitzman. I think I'm saying that right. They ask, ice is keeping me up at night. Is it difficult to get ice? How much is it per bag? Is there a better place to get the ice than others? Okay, that's a legit question. So there will be a lot of places throughout the campgrounds where you can buy a bag of ice. In terms of size, it's going to be the same thing that you get out of those big coolers outside the gas station.
Yeah.
I think they're all pretty much the same size. They went up on the price last year. I can't recall exactly how much it was. Do you? I want to say it was $8-9.
It
Somewhere in
it's
that
varied
ballpark.
throughout the years. When we first started going to Bonnaroo, it was like $5 a bag.
Yeah.
And then it went up to like $8-9 a bag.
Yeah.
And then I've seen it like $10 a bag. So I don't know.
Also, I'm going to give you some pro advice. Are you ready for this? I think you know where I'm going with this. One day we were hanging out next to the bus, and the guys came in on the truck with all of the bags of ice, like a giant truck full of them. So I come over there and I'm like, hey guys, can I help you out with that? I can help you load that in. They're like, yeah, sure. So I just chat them up, in the 5 or 10 minutes that it takes to load it up. Then I'm like, oh, hey, by the way, do you mind if I grab one? They're like, yeah, go ahead. So, I mean, it wasn't a scam or anything. I was just like, I knew that if I was super friendly, I could get a free bag of ice.
You just stood there and waited for the ice guy to come by.
No, I just saw them happen to pull up. But anyways, back to Jamie's question. They're all over the place. So there pretty much is going to be an ice cooler at every plaza out in the campgrounds.
In general, there should be one at every plaza.
Yeah.
Last year there was not one in group, but they're supposed to be fixing that this year.
Oh, which is the one that Bad Bitches Only are at? Which pod is it?
Plaza 2.
Plaza 2. For those new, this was an inside joke one year when the Lonely Island played. You'll hear about it. Ask around about it. All right. Anything else about the ice?
No, but just there's supposed to be one at every plaza. There's supposed to be an ice.
There's a giant truck with a cooler,
and it's like a giant truck, and you just go up there. Now, there is one thing, tip on that. A lot of people will bring those little wagons.
Good idea.
Those little wagons that you can get from like Academy or Dick's Sporting Goods or whatever. Those collapsible wagons to haul your ice around in, especially if you're going to be buying multiple bags for your coolers.
Haul your ice around.
Like if you have, multiple people at your campsite, because the bags,
they're heavy.
They're pretty heavy.
Yeah. So, and there's a fair chance that your camp is going to be a pretty good walk away from a plaza. Right. I mean, you might get lucky and be right next to it, but there's also an equal chance that you'll be a good walk away.
Right.
So if you need to haul water or ice back, those things are going to save your tail.
Right, and everything is going to be centrally located right there at that main plaza area. So that's where your water is going to be, your ice is going to be, your showers, your flushable toilets, etc. So if you want to haul your water and everything back, get you one of those collapsible wagons.
All right. Next one on the Reddit thing, I'll kind of gloss over because there are some warnings from the veterans about the bees. Look, we're just going to tell y'all, you got to watch out for the bees. The veterans will tell you exactly where the bees are, and you should beware and steer clear of the bees. All right. Next one is...
There's not really bees.
You'll hear about this. All right. Next question. I have a 10 by 10 canopy. We'll have a tent under it with tapestries hung on all 4 corners. Air mattress inside tent. His question is a little all over the place. But basically, he's asking, I'm going to have a canopy. They're going to have tapestries all over the place. Is propane allowed? Yes. If you were having it attached to a cooker, you can have that, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you should be good. Charlotte, you bought like a little propane can that we took to Burning Man that you use for a hot plate. I think that's kind of what this person might be talking about.
So they do have a limit on how much propane. I don't know what the limit is.
It seems to change year to year.
Yeah, you'd have to look that up on the Bonnaroo website. But I mean, you just bring, your little small grill. I know I brought one of those tiny little cooktop grills last year, and that was fine. So I don't know what the limit is on that.
They will probably clarify that much closer to June. So keep an eye out for that. And it does tend to change because they have security requirements and stuff.
He does have a question, or he or she, or they. They do have a question on here. What other things do I need besides the obvious, like chairs, soap, etc.?
Oh, wow.
If you actually look on the Reddit, there is a wiki list on here. The Reddit actually has a wiki, and the wiki has a link to a packing list. Now, this packing list was made by an amazing person called Bonnaroo Chris.
Oh, yeah, he's the best.
And it is the definitive Bonnaroo packing list. Now, this packing list was made several years ago.
Well, it still applies.
So it may be a little bit outdated, but it's still going to give you a good, and excellent general basis of things that you're going to need for Bonnaroo.
All right. Yeah, I think that will cover that question too. All right, next one. Emperor Noxall. Now, this is a bit of a controversial question, but I'm glad that it's being asked. We do need to discuss it.
Right.
Does DanceSafe or any other organization provide free drug testing at Bonnaroo for harm reduction? Oh boy. All right. How do we get started on this one?
So not officially.
Yeah. They have tried to in the past. Here's where we got to talk a little bit about the legal issues around this. So they can't because as someone tall, their Reddit username points out in the comments, due to some crappy Tennessee laws, they can't officially be there. They've wanted to in the past, but Tennessee law makes that tricky because if they are having things that promote harm reduction in that kind of context, then it makes Bonnaroo look as if they are, kind of looking the other way or in some way approving the use of those kind of things at Bonnaroo, which they can't do because there are a lot of liability and legal issues, right, Charla?
Right.
So they can't officially be there. But there will be stuff unofficially there. There will probably be somebody who is really a big advocate of harm reduction who is handing this stuff out.
Right.
And look, you can't pretend that there isn't sand at the beach. This is a thing. It's a music festival. We know it's going to happen. We can't pretend that it's not. Be safe. If you know where to buy that stuff ahead of time, you totally should. You can't rely on anything that you might find at the beach, so to say. I hope you understand our metaphors here. So think ahead about that kind of thing. You may run into somebody like DanceSafe, but they can't be there officially, so it's going to kind of be like Where's Waldo out there a little bit with that kind of thing. Anything else you want to say on that, Charla?
No, just please be smart.
Yes, that's the biggest thing. Do your research, do your homework, buy some stuff like that ahead of time if you need to. Now, Charlotte and I are not advocating anything one way or another, but also we know that it's Bonnaroo. It's going to happen, right?
Right.
All right. Charlotte, do you want to ask this next one? I love this next question.
So, acceptable_entry 808 says, my partner and I are traveling from Australia and are attending the Friday of Bonnaroo. We're going to stay in a hotel for the night. How hard is it to get a taxi or rideshare? I can answer this one.
Please.
So, I'm going to be very honest with you. Manchester is a tiny town. Ubers and Lyft, taxis, etc., they exist, but they are extremely limited. And not only are they very limited, you're competing with hundreds and hundreds of other people trying to get one. Taxi services are kind of non-existent a little bit. I mean, like someone said, they're kind of non-existent outside of massive cities, really. So what I would do if I were you, I would contact your hotel that you're staying in, and I would ask them if they provide a shuttle service. I would just call your hotel directly and ask them if they provide a shuttle service.
Yeah. Also, there is a service called Roo Rides. I don't know if they're still around or not.
Last year and previous years, I had wrote about them on Reddit, but I'm not sure if they still exist. I haven't seen anything from them in a while.
It was pretty much one guy. He may have moved away or something.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they're still doing that or not.
So that's worth looking into to see if they still exist.
Yeah, it's called Roo Rides. I mean, you can, you can Google that.
Now, if you guys are coming in from Australia and staying just the one day, first of all, we think you should stay the whole time, but I understand.
Definitely.
You're coming from a long way, so there's other things to see while you're here in the States. I understand that Bonnaroo is going to do a shuttle. So they're going to have like daily parking at a local fairgrounds, and they're going to have a shuttle that will run from that to the farm. I don't think they've released a lot of information other than saying that's going to be a thing.
From what I understand, that's where you park your car.
Yeah.
And then so you don't park on site.
Yeah.
And then,
so you guys will have an option for that. I would dig into those. So look to see if Roo Rides still exist. We honestly are unsure. They might. And also, I think there will be more information in the coming months about this shuttle that they're going to have from the fairground parking spot.
And also, just a note, Roo Rides was unofficial starters.
Oh,
It had nothing to do
It's
with
one guy in a
Bonnaroo.
truck.
It was one guy that was
Yeah.
just lived locally and was giving people rides.
Yeah, he was a very good Samaritan. I think he was just charging like $5 to go to
I don't know
Walmart
what
and
he
back.
charged.
Yeah, it was cheap. All right, next one is from Caco Bell, C-A-C-O Bell. They are buying GA tickets soon. There are 2 options, question mark. Do both include the bandana? I don't care about toys. It's just that I'd end up throwing it away. But I do want that sweet, sweet Bonnaroo bandana. So this is about the swag with the ticket package.
Well, there's multiple options for your tickets. I would just go to bonnaroo.com/tickets. I mean, there's multiple options. But as far as the swag, you get the bandana either way, just like someone on here said.
Yeah.
And
there'll be something else too.
Yeah, we don't know what the swag's going to be this year. The swag has been fantastic in the past, and some years it's been... don't know what happened to mine. So
2/3 of the time they send out really good stuff. Some other times they try something different and like it's a little bit hit or miss.
But to answer the question, yes. Unless they did away with the bandana.
I don't see why not. That's been a tradition for 10 years. There's no way they wouldn't do the bandana. I'd be surprised if they didn't. All right, do you want to ask this next one from Bridget?
Yes, this is a good question. So, any tips to get to Rue when you can't arrive until Friday night in Nashville? So there is another sub called Rue Ride Shares.
Ooh.
If you're comfortable connecting with someone on the internet, and this is your personal preference, I would post there. I would also get online to the Facebook group Loophole to Reality. I would post there looking for a ride. I would just kind of look around on the internet. There's Ricky Rides.
Ricky?
That's a website where you can connect with rides, going to events. So I would just kind of look around there. But coming in on a Friday night, honestly, I don't know that a lot of other people would be looking to come in that late.
Yeah.
With it being a higher year and with a lot of tickets being sold, you might find someone. But, I would just kind of post around if you're comfortable meeting someone online and doing that.
Yeah. And if you need to rent a car, if you don't have another option, start looking into that now.
Yeah.
Do it now. But yeah, Friday is going to make it tricky. But yeah, you got some homework to do. DM us if you need any advice on this. Do you want to ask this next one from Snowed Out MT?
I have been to many festivals, but I've always driven with my camping gear and food. If I fly into the festival, how do you do that? Is there a write-up about flying into Bonnaroo? Any input would be appreciated.
Well, I don't know if there's a write-up about this already, but you're going to run into a lot of people in the next couple months who are doing the same thing. Now, if you're flying in, you are a good example of why Bonnaroo is doing all of these, pre-set up options, like these glamping options with a tent that will be waiting for you. They're not exactly the most cheap thing in the world, but if you got some money to spare, you will pretty much have everything that you need at your campsite waiting for you when you roll in. Now, for Snowed Out MT, I don't know what your situation is. I'm going to guess that you're probably flying into like Chattanooga or probably Nashville. If that's the case, you're going to be fine. Just stop at a Walmart on your way in. You're going to get a handful of things that you need and just bring it in with you. In fact, if you don't want to spring for the glamping setup, you can just buy a tent for like, what, $30 at Walmart?
They do mention on here might rent a car or something.
Yeah.
That they have 3 people. So, yeah, that's totally, like, if you're going to do that, definitely just rent a car. There is a Walmart in Manchester. Or don't even do that because tents will go so quickly there. Just stop further out.
Near Nashville.
Grab you a tent and, you're good to go. What you can even do is leave your tent at the festival. Here's a really cool thing that a lot of people don't know. So after the festival, the volunteers will go around and pick up all of the tents that are left and all of the gear that's left. They donate it to something called the Gear Closet, and then all of that gets auctioned off, a few weeks after the festival, or at least that's the way it's been in the past. And then also, people go around and they get ground scores and stuff. So don't worry about, necessarily littering if you need to leave your tent behind or something like that.
It will not litter. Somebody will pick it up or it will be donated.
Right.
So that is probably our advice. Like, stop at a Walmart, probably near Nashville. Don't wait till you get to, Murfreesboro or Manchester. Stop at a Walmart or Target or something like that. Get cheap options and, just leave it. Somebody will pick it up or it'll be donated. You don't have to feel bad about that. All right. I am skipping one because it had a lot of the same information we covered earlier. I'm going to go to Don't Step on Me 22 asks, I booked at the Area 931 Safari tent. Hey, good look on you. That's going to be nice. It says check in on Thursday. Do we know what time on Thursday? A few of them emailed the info email and were told no shuttles are happening this year. Do we think that'll change? All right, let's go one through one. So, no, we don't know what time on Thursday. I don't think that has been announced. A lot of people in the comments are saying most likely 8 a.m. on Thursday because that's how it's been in the past. But this is not totally known yet. They probably don't know. They're probably going to update that information once we get closer. But I do think it'll probably be first thing because they want people to be able to go into Cinderu in the afternoon when music starts.
Right, exactly.
By the way, let us know how that works out. I'm really curious to see how nice that Area 931 situation is going to be. Now, the second email, they were the second question, they were talking about no shuttles. No, I don't think that's going to change. It sounds like they've pretty much made their mind up on that. And they asked if Uber is a safe backup. No, probably not. Charlotte detailed that earlier. So be doing your homework about other options for that. All right, let's go to the next one. I'll take this one. I answered this on the Reddit. Roland asked, will the festival be live streamed for free? If so, where? And yes, it will. They announced that it will be on Hulu again. They did a great job covering a lot of festivals last year. We watched Lollapalooza here on the couch, I remember. I think the same broadcast team that did Bonnaroo did Lolla, and they'll be doing it again this year. So if you're stuck at home and can't come to Roo in person, that's another option. Look for us in the crowd. It'll be fun. All right, here's another big one. Charlotte, why don't you take this one?
Okay, I'm not sure how to pronounce the name.
I think it's Albino Raisin. Albino Raisin.
Okay, this person asked, I'd love to hear more about the pit and the pit lines for what and which stages.
Oh, here we go.
They did include a photo, and they said, so can I get a spot in front of the sound booth that's still outside the pit? What are the general wait times to get in the pit for each, spot? Is there high energy and dancing and moshing if you're close but not in the pit?
Oh, boy.
Is there a very distinct high energy, low energy separation between the pit and outside the pit? Ooh.
All right. So this is a very good one. We'll take a few minutes on this one. All right. So let's go back in time a little bit. So Bonnaroo has borrowed this idea from European festivals. So the idea is there is a pit that is cleared out between each show where you can go in and get close to your favorite artist and be with a couple of hundred new friends, right? After the show is over, it will be cleared out, and then the line for the next show will fill it up, right? Now, this year is going to be a little bit different than last year. Last year wasn't, a very big crowd, so unless it was somebody like Stevie Nicks, you could pretty much just walk into the pit for most shows. We're probably going to have a sellout year this year, so that's probably not going to be the case. If you want to get in the pit for somebody that isn't exactly a headliner, I would recommend showing up at the very beginning of the prior show. So probably about an hour and a half before to get your spot in line. And when you get in line, you're going to make friends and they're going to hold your spot if you have to go get a snack or go to the bathroom or something like that. Now, as far as the energy goes, this kind of depends on the artist. If you're going to go see Fleet Foxes, I don't think there's going to be a lot of mosh pitting and stuff like that. But if it's somebody like, let's say, Knocked Loose, they're probably going to be in a tent. But say Knocked Loose was at which stage? I don't know if I would want to be in that pit because I would probably lose my life. That one is probably going to be pretty wild. So if it is a band that has a lot of energy, yes, the pit is going to have a lot of energy. The one and only time I ever went crowd surfing at Roo was at Group Love. So that goes to tell you something. You weren't there. There's a video of this. I'll show you sometime. But some of the other questions. You want to know what it's like right behind the pit. So back in ye olden day in 2013, Charlotte and I were right behind the pit for Paul McCartney. We waited a very long time to get there because, well, he was a Beatle. We waited, 6 hours to be there? I want to say, through 4 or 5 shows. You can do that, but it will take a long while. So say you want to get behind the pit for the Foo Fighters. You're going to be there most of all day. If you want to get in the pit for the Foo Fighters, you're going to make friends with us. We'll probably be there all day. So think about that in terms of your time investment. There's probably a lot of other shows that you're going to see throughout the day. Are you willing to give those up to get in the pit for somebody like Odessa or Kendrick or whatever? So think about that. And as far as the energy questions go, yes, it's going to be wild. It's going to be fun. You should try it. I'd totally recommend getting in a pit for a big artist. Maybe not necessarily a headliner because he'll take you all day, but the experience is something else. We were in the pit for Childish Gambino years ago, and oh my gosh, I wouldn't have given that experience up for anything. We had so much fun. Any other thoughts about the pit, Charlotte?
I think you covered it.
Yeah? What's been your favorite show that you ever saw from the pit?
Favorite show from the pit? Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Yeah.
You know, this is weird. Nah, not that one.
No,
let me back up. let me
what was the
rewind.
one you were going to say?
Nah, I don't even want to say it.
Say it.
No, I don't want to say it because
All right.
I was lying. That was me telling lies.
I'll tell y'all later.
All right. My favorite, Old Crow for sure.
Oh, yeah, that was fun. I think Gambino was my favorite.
Yeah.
But yes.
Oh, Gambino. I forgot about that.
That was insane.
Ooh.
Okay, next one. Why don't you read it here?
All right. Does anyone think it's too late to rent a drivable RV in Nashville? Not having luck and might end up flying into Knoxville to pick up the RV. This is from
Spooked.
Okay. It really depends on where you're looking at. I would definitely check out. There is some RV rental websites where you can actually rent from RV owners themselves. I would definitely check out RV Share is one of them. And then there is outdoorsy.co. So definitely check out those two websites.
I didn't even know about that.
Yes. And you can rent directly from the owners themselves.
Ooh. It'll be pricey.
Definitely check those out if you haven't already. You mentioned flying into Knoxville. Also see if you can fly into Chattanooga as well.
Or Huntsville.
Or, yes, Huntsville, Alabama is only a couple of hours away from Bonnaroo. And also in Huntsville, Alabama, we have Bankston Motorhomes. They have multiple RVs that you can actually rent at Bankston.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, we actually have some friends of ours that every year they rent an RV from Bankston Motorhomes just for Bonnaroo. So look that up. See if you can fly into Huntsville and rent something from Bankston.
All right. Yeah, I remember there being one from Bankston on Jordan Lane here in Huntsville.
Yes.
But as somebody pointed out in the Reddit comments, pickings are going to be slim. People are probably already booking them. So you might have to, look around and get creative with some of those sites that Charlotte was talking about. And what were they again, Charlotte?
The sites are RV Share and outdoorsy.co.
All right. Next one is from Wonderful Complex 109. Where do people come up with these? Anyway, is there assigned spots for car camping? Like if we were to leave and come back, would we get to keep our spot or find a new one? Are we even allowed to leave and come back? First time at a festival, LOL. Okay. No, leaving and coming back is very frowned upon. Once you come into the whole alternative universe that is Bonnaroo, you should plan on staying. Assigned spots, I mean, it kind of comes down to definition. You're going to be taken to a spot by the volunteers once you drive in, and you're going to kind of want to stay put because people are going to be walking around all over the place, but they can't really have like traffic going in and out through the walking streets in the Bonnaroo campgrounds. You have any thoughts on this, Charlotte?
Once you set up all of your camping thing, when you come into Bonnaroo, you're going to go to your campsite and you're going to set up your tent. You're going to set up your canopy. I mean, you're going to set up your campsite, and that's going to be your campsite for the entire week.
Yeah.
So if you needed to leave, you would only take your card to leave out. So let's say you needed to go to Walmart for some reason. You would only drive out your car. You wouldn't take down your entire camp or your entire campsite.
Super Fruities in the comments has a good point. Like if you left and took all of your stuff, your neighbors are going to assume that you've left.
Yeah.
And like they're going to kind of yeah. So really, like, I mean, I don't want to tell anybody not to do anything, but really you shouldn't plan on leaving. It's probably not the best idea.
Right. I mean, if you have an emergency, and have to leave and go to Walmart, that's one thing. But I would definitely plan on staying there.
Yeah. Next couple of questions are about like glamping and moon colony. Honestly, there aren't good answers to those kind of things right now because we still don't know. I think Bonnaroo is going to provide more answers to these kind of things as we get closer. Like, for example, if we do glamping, will the tent be reserved if we can't come until Friday? Well, yes.
Okay. Now, someone did say how many people can fit/sleep in the moon colony tent. So
how many people can you fit in a VW Bug?
Well, someone did. Let's see. I'm not sure how to pronounce their username.
Armadlian we'll go with.
They said that they actually emailed info@bonnaroo.com, and the response they received was that the Moon Colony large darkroom tents are designed for 2 people. But they said the Moon Colony's tents are designed for 2 people, so they recommended getting a second tent, but that if we truly wish to have more than 2 people, it was allowed as long as everyone had a center row ticket.
Okay.
So that's your answer right there as far as how many people can sleep in the Moon Colony tent. Because I've actually seen that question come up a lot.
Okay. So good to know. Thanks again, Armadlian.
And someone else said that they had a one of those glamping tents last year, and it came with 2 air mattresses, 2 sleeping bags.
Oh.
And they had 3 people in there comfortably.
Okay. Well, I guess 2 of them got extra cozy. All right. You read this next one.
Someone said, are there any laid-back, more chill relaxation-focused spots on the farm? My spouse and I are both introverts who like to party occasionally, slightly worried about social burnout. Any spots to get away from the noise?
Oh, yes, plenty. There was a whole plaza last year that was kind of dedicated towards like meditation and such.
Yes.
I forget which one it was. In the past, there was a whole plaza tent that was dedicated to yoga and meditation. There are even some spots in Scenery where they've put up shade structures where it's just kind of generally agreed upon by everybody, like, hey, this is the chill out, maybe take a power nap kind of spot.
In my opinion, I think it's more about finding your personal chill spot on there. Because there's always, the farm is 700 acres. There's always going to be somewhere where you can go off on your own or with your partner
The
and
grove,
just kind of find, your little relaxation spot. I mean, like Daniel said, there's the grove, and you can just kind of go off on, on your own and kind of find, your little spot. There's as far as noise, I mean, honestly, you may not be able to get away from all of the noise there. I mean, it is a giant music festival, let's be honest. But there's always going to be somewhere where you can just kind of go and just kind of get in a corner and just kind of get away, from a lot of people. I mean, I was very much an introvert when I went in 2013. And that was one of the biggest years, of Bonnaroo. There was, 90,000 people there that year. But I still remember even that year being able to I just went off in, a back corner and just, was able to sit by myself,
Usually, if you're laying there by yourself with your eyes closed, it's generally agreed upon by everybody that, like, hey, you're chilling out. Nobody's going to really bother you. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. All right, next one is from Radical Empaths Pod. Maybe they have a podcast. All right, thanks for taking questions. We're rookies, stoked for the first time. We're stoked to have you.
Yes.
My question is, how long of a process is it to clear out the farm on Monday when all is said and done? Is it generally well organized, and does it move relatively quickly, or will there be bottlenecks of traffic? Should we plan on having to wait hours just to get out of the farm onto the roads on Monday? All right, so again, it will be different this year because it's probably going to sell out. Monday can be a little tricky, but not bad. This last year, we got stuck in line for about 45 minutes, maybe an hour, because like somebody's car stalled out. So a little bit out of the ordinary. But it tends to move pretty quickly most years.
Yeah.
So they have had to change things a little bit because like local people got a little upset. They didn't want to like stall up the local roads and everything. So in the past, you could just get up and leave. There is a bit of a line in recent years to get out, but it's not terrible.
A lot of people will leave on Sunday night, and from what I've seen I think it tends to be more crowded getting out Sunday night.
Yeah, we've seen that.
Versus Monday morning. The easiest to get out, just my experience, has been leaving later on Monday morning.
Yeah. There's no rush to leave on Monday. Like, they know if there's traffic, they're not going to, bum rush you out of there.
They really don't start truly booting people until
Monday afternoon.
I mean, I would say noonish.
Yeah.
It's really when they go around, and
it's like, hey guys, see you next year.
hey. They really don't start booting people until, noon.
So my advice is pack up as much as you can on Sunday night before you go in for the Foo Fighters. And then, just take it easy Monday morning, put away the last couple of things, and, wait till about 10 o'clock, and you'll be good. Come meet us over at the Cracker Barrel on Monday.
Yes,
we always have a
tradition,
brunch on Monday. All right, let's go to the next one. You want to read it?
So, Sammy P. Dog 420 says...
Sammy.
First, I'm sorry.
No, go.
First timer here. We will... Stop.
I didn't say anything. She's laughing at me, not you, Sammy.
I was laughing because he said that.
Sammy.
Stop. First timer here. We will be arriving Tuesday. How are the camping spots selected? Also, are the camping spots accurately 20 by 20 foot?
Well, if you're coming Tuesday, come see us Tuesday night.
Yes. If you're doing the Rue Galaxy GA, first come, first serve. So you're going to get, if you're coming in on Tuesday, you'll get pretty close to the arch.
Yeah.
I mean, you should be right on up there.
You'll be set.
And yes, 20 by 20.
Yeah, sometimes it's a little bit bigger, depending on who your parking volunteer is, but that's pretty much what you should expect. So, rule of thumb is it's about as long as your car is, and then let's say, I don't know, like 5 or 6 steps away from your car. So you get, the size of like a dorm living room back in college, I suppose.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit bigger than that. But it'll be plenty of space for your tent and your easy up, space to chill out. If you're coming in on just one car, you're going to make friends with your neighbors. If you're coming in with 2 or 3 people, y'all can all share that space and it'll feel a little bit bigger,
And be nice to the camping or the parking volunteers.
Yeah, they're just trying to get you in as quick as they can because they're going to be trying to get in 80,000 people this year. So work with them, give them a goodie if you can, and I mean beer or, candy or whatever. All right. Anything else on that, Charlie?
I think we covered that.
All right. I'm skipping my own comment here. So Sam Sita 159 asks, if I bought a Wednesday pass and have to enter Thursday, will that pass work, or do I need to get a new pass? Ooh.
So from what I've always understood, that means you can come Wednesday forward.
Yeah, I would email them the Bonnaroo info email and double check. It's possible you may have to swap it. They use those just to get a ballpark idea of how many people to expect coming in each day.
Right.
So a few that are changing here and there, they're not going to worry that much about. But I would double check that. But if you don't and you just rolled in, they're still going to let you in. It's not going to be that big of a deal. So you should be okay. All right, ask this next one.
How is the check-in process? Dogs from Arizona, and the most they were looking for has always been weapons, etc.
That's from Moneymaker Mish. All right, the check-in is pretty quick. So what's going to happen when you come to one of the gates is you're going to get greeted by a volunteer who's going to scan your wristband, and the volunteer people will take a look at your car just to make sure that you're not doing anything too stupid, right? So they're just looking for knives or, you're not supposed to bring things like fireworks and stuff like that. Just making sure that you don't have anything like that. And if you do, they're going to take it from you. Now, what you will hear from a lot of people on Reddit and Facebook and Discord and stuff is true. Every once in a while, the cops will randomly select somebody to do a thorough search. And if you couldn't tell, I'm doing random in air quotes here. So my advice to you is dress like you're going to your grandma's after church on Sunday, like you're going over to eat dinner. If you're coming down the highway, or if you're coming into Bonnaroo and you look like you just left Woodstock, you're not going to be randomly selected. You're going to be targeted. So look the part. Don't write Bonnaroo all over your cars. Don't go overboard with the tie-dye stuff. Don't be doing anything in the car right before you get to Bonnaroo, if you know what I'm talking about. And play it smart, and you won't be randomly selected. Now, if you're doing all these things and it truly is random and you get picked, they're going to give it a good look, but just work with them, be cool, be polite. Don't, try to be argumentative. If you play up the Southern charm a little bit, it works wonders. All right, any other thoughts on that, Charles?
I think you pretty much covered it.
Yeah, I think they know what I mean by this, so be smart. It's unlikely you're going to be randomly selected. It doesn't happen very often. But I think what I would worry more about is the drive there.
Right.
Look, guys,
exactly.
We stay positive on this, but I'm just going to be honest. Tennessee state troopers are dicks. They will pull you over for looking at them funny. So don't put frames on your license tag. Don't have anything hanging from the rear view mirror. Don't have a distracted driver. Do not even think about looking at your phone while you're going down a Tennessee interstate. They will pull you over for that.
Okay. I'll just be honest.
Yeah.
We have been pulled over multiple times in Tennessee.
Yeah.
While pulling an RV and while driving the bus. We've had wonderful, amazing, can I escort you along this road? This is wonderful. And then we've had horrible experiences.
Yeah.
So you just never know how it's going to go.
Oh, well, the rule of thumb is the local city cops are wonderful. The Manchester city cops, they love having us and our money in town. They are super friendly. They'll ask you to go to the local restaurants to spend your money locally. They love having us in for Bonnaroo. Most of them go to Bonnaroo. They go to shows for fun. It's the Tennessee State Troopers you got to watch out for. They are no fun. Okay, that's all that needs to be said on that kind of stuff. Why don't you ask this next one?
Is there any kind of shuttle that takes you back from Murfreesboro to Root? We're not camping, and I'm worried about driving home every night after raging. Are cops wild in these small towns?
Wow.
Coming from Denver, and we are so stoked. Any info is appreciated. Much love. That's from OK Letter 5840.
Okay, letter. So I think we've covered most of these kind of things. There, unfortunately, is no shuttle this year. So be thinking ahead about how you're going to do your
drive home, because
situation.
there was a Tennessee State something. Some guy that worked for the government of Tennessee.
I think it was like a Tennessee State House member or something. I can't remember exactly.
Got arrested for doing that drive last year.
Yeah. He got the DUI, and everybody was just asking, what show did he go to?
Yeah.
It was a couple years ago. Now, look, okay, letter, I'm going to give you my pitch here. I think you should camp.
Yeah, just camp.
Like, look, the magic at Bonnaroo is in the campgrounds. You're going to miss half of it if you're not camping.
So this is our pitch here. If you're not camping at Bonnaroo, you're going to miss a lot of Bonnaroo.
Like half of it, honestly.
Yes. Bonnaroo is a non-stop party that literally goes 24/7. You're going to have to, if you leave, you're going to miss a lot of shows. I mean, Bonnaroo has, sets that go on at 3, 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. I mean, there's shows that go all the time. I mean, you're going to miss a lot of stuff.
And much more happens in the camps.
I mean, I just can't imagine having to drive home every night or to drive out every night.
Please camp with us.
Yes.
We'll make sure you have such a good time.
Now, you mentioned you're from Denver, but you mentioned Murfreesboro. I would call your hotel and see if they provide a shuttle.
Yeah, they might. Some of them in Murfreesboro do, because there's a college in town over there.
So.
By the way, our buddy Cocaine Jesus was talking about that incident. Said it was the Tennessee Secretary of State.
Yeah.
Shout out to Cocaine Jesus. We saw My Morning Jacket with him a couple months ago. That was a good time.
But yeah, I highly recommend camping.
Yeah, please do. Please do. We're asking that you do. We'll make sure that you have a good time. The party's in the campgrounds, man. All right, Charles. Some of these questions are starting to repeat some of the same things, so I think we've covered it. We've gone about 45 minutes worth. Thanks to everybody that asked all these. I know there's going to be a lot more since we have a lot of first-timers. So you first-timers, you rookies, please check all of these pages. Charlie, there's going to be a sticky FAQ post on the Reddit once a week, right?
Yes, there's a new one each week, so please ask all of your questions in there, as well as there is a wiki in the Reddit.
Yeah.
So check that.
So shout out again to all the moderators of /r/Bonnaroo, especially Travel Time, that worked with us to do this collab episode to go through a lot of these questions. We will probably do more of these. We traditionally do an episode just for first-timers. We should probably do that here in the next month or so, don't you think?
Yeah, for sure.
We've got some travel coming up, and Brooklyn and I are going to Okeechobee. We'll try to get that in. Let's try to do that before we go to Okeechobee, do our first-timers episode.
That'd be cool,
Tell them everything that they need to know, especially because this year is going to be wild, it being a sellout and everything. So we'll have that for you soon. But something else we want to talk about for you as we start to wrap up is our Patreon.
Yes.
All right. So those of you that are new, this is something fun that we're doing. Charlotte and I don't keep a cent of this. 80% of everything that we're taking through the Patreon is going to the Bonnaroo Works Fund. By the way, shout out to Miss Kelsey. I'm talking to her sometime in the next couple of weeks.
Ooh,
We got something fun going on. Yeah, and it is at patreon.com/Rubus. Again, 80% goes to the Bonnaroo Works Fund, the wonderful charity arm of Bonnaroo. The remaining 20%, we're going to blow at our party on Wednesday. We're going to let our Patreons decide what we spend it on. So, I don't know. Might be pizza, might be goodies, might be booze. I don't know.
If the bus is rocking, do come knocking.
Oh, that's a story for another time. But, Charlotte, do you want to list out our Patreons?
I do.
Go for it.
Okay. We've got some new ones this week. So,
Yeah.
thank you so much, guys. All right. We've got Bill, Harris Williams, Brian Joseph, Keith Sears, Casey Arbuckle, Chloe Rose, Andrew, you got the mouse in the way. Andrew Kilo.
We know Andrew. He's active on our Discord.
Is that the same Andrew?
That's the same Andrew.
Oh,
Me and
yes,
him.
it is. Yes,
We're like Tame
I'm
Impala
sorry.
bros. Yeah.
Dave Uniball. And Andrew.
Um,
I'm sorry.
We're working through this, y'all.
And
Amanda Schneider. Amanda, I apologize on her behalf.
And Brooklyn said it wrong last week. Okay.
Yeah.
Amanda Snyder. Aaron Lord. Nick Wickley. Nick Wickley.
She is totally sober.
Yes. Nick Wigler. Nick. Oh my God. Just stab me.
No.
Maddie McCracken. Sean McCain. McFerg. Andrew Julian. John Howard. Captain Dan. Benjamin Wells. Ross McNamara. Kent Summers. Michael Roberts. Randy C. Joshua Wenzel. Madison. Scott Hurst. Greg B. Eric and Ben Abel. Beyond the Hypnotic.
That's Jace.
Evan Brown. Jay Sanders. Chloe Hannon. And Sean McCarthy.
Oh my gosh, this list is getting insane.
Right, I love it. Oh my gosh, thank y'all so much.
Thank y'all so much. Again, we don't keep a cent. It's
Yeah.
going to go mostly to the Works
The
Fund.
Works Fund, yes.
And we're going to have a big chunk of change to donate to them and a big chunk of change to donate to ourselves at the party. So I'm going to get a call together with our Patreons. You want to do it next week?
Yeah,
Let's
I
talk to
think
them
so,
next week. Me and Charlotte and Brooklyn are going to be out of town for a week here in a couple of weeks. So, yeah, y'all, Patreons, look in your inbox. I'm going to shoot
Yes.
you a thing tonight or tomorrow. We're going to get a call together to start brainstorming what we should blow all this money on, because it's going to be a lot. It's kind of crazy. All right. Again, that is at patreon.com/Rubus.
Yes.
All right. Y'all, I think this is going to be just about it for this episode.
I'm going to make out one of those novelty checks again for the...
Oh, yeah. She did that last year. There's a picture of...
We tried
yeah.
to take a picture and it kept blurring for some reason.
Well, we were all
'Cause
pretty
of the
blurred at that point.
Humidity. 'Cause it's so
Everything
hot.
was... everything was blurry for everyone at that point.
True.
It was wild. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us for this FAQ episode. We wanted to keep it exclusively that, so we'll go back to our other fun stuff like weekly picks and everything next week.
Oh, if you are planning to camp with the Rubus group,
Oh, yeah.
please inbox us.
Yeah.
Send me an inbox message.
Charlotte
or
will get
send
you on the Discord.
The Rubus an inbox message, and we will get you on the Discord. Also, if you want to join our just general Discord, I did put a link in it on our bio, our Twitter bio, and our Instagram
good.
bio.
Just make sure to introduce yourself.
Yes, a couple people had inboxed us and said they couldn't find it. I changed it. I
She
did
fixed
update
it.
it. I fixed it. So there is a link. It's in our LinkedIn. That's in our bio. So you can find that.
Awesome. Thank you, Charlotte. And by the way, if you are going to Okeechobee here in about a month and a half, hit me up. We aren't doing anything officially there. I'm just happy to be there for the party. Like, this is my spring break party. So me and Brooklyn are going to be there. Unfortunately, Charlotte won't be. You ever going to go to Okie?
Yeah, maybe. I don't
One
know.
of these
But I
days?
have to work, so
Yeah.
I have a job. Sorry.
Well, I do too. I'm using all my off days for our trip and for Okie. But if you are going to Okie, hit us up. We'd love to see you there. I think we're going to have a handful of people meeting outside the festival to caravan in and make a big campsite and basically just turn it into a 4-day party. And I'm really excited about that. I love Bonnaroo, but I also give myself projects at Bonnaroo. At Okie, I'm just like, I'm partying the whole time. I got nothing to be responsible for. I'm so excited. All right, guys, that's it for this week. We will be back next week with what? I don't know yet. Maybe we'll get an interview. Maybe we'll find somebody fun to talk to. How about it?
Yeah.
We'll let you know. But we'll have one more, then I think we'll take a week off because we got a trip coming up. And then I think we'll do our first timers episode after that. All right, everybody. We appreciate you joining on for us. Again, thank you to all of our new listeners. Our numbers really skyrocketed this past week. So we love having y'all on board. Can't wait to meet you at Rue, right, Charlotte?
Yes, I'm so excited to meet everybody.
Yes,
That's the best
please.
part to me.
Come meet us virtually in the Discord first, and we'll see you there. All right, we'll see you next week. Get out there and radiate positivity.
Hey.